Good morning, Fair Oak. It's science time. So today is all about communication. We're going to have some fun with sounds. Have you noticed that it's really tricky to hear people the further away they are? The words that they say, you can't really make out, you can't really hear them. Well, we're going to explore how you can talk to someone who's a distance away from you, but without yelling at them. So this is what we're going to need. You're going to need some cups or yogurt pots. You'll need 2 of them. You'll need some scissors, some string. Now ideally you need some sort of pin. Now the reason I put the rubber with it is that when we put the pin in, you might want to push down onto a base that you know is going to be safe. Now I would get an adult to do that for you. So if an adult's around, if you could ask them to help you with that bit, that would be brilliant. You might need a little bit of sellotape too. Right, if you've got all the equipment, let's get on with the method. So the first job we need to do is to get an adult to help us put a hole into the middle of the bottom of both of the pots. Now I'm going to do it by placing the pot on top of the rubber and then using the sharp end of the pin. My fingers are well out of the way. I'm going to push the pin through the bottom of the pot into the rubber so I know it's safe, and then I've got a hole in the bottom of my pot. And I'm going to do that with both of my pots. So both your pots should have holes now in the bottom. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to need to cut yourself a length of string. Now I'd cut it at least 1 metre, but if you have enough string it might be more fun to try it a little bit further, so maybe 2 metres or 3 metres. So cut yourself a length of string and then we'll be ready for the next job. Now the next bit may be a little bit fiddly and you might need to make your holes a little bit bigger. But what we're going to do is we're going to put the end of one of the pieces of string through the hole in the bottom of the cup. So there's one. And then we're going to get the other end and put it through the other hole in the other cup. And then what you're going to need to do is tie a knot into the end so that it won't come out through the telephone hole. Now, you might want to put a couple of knots, that's it. And then if you pull it back through, it won't go through the bottom of the pot. Now you might want to put a little bit of sellotape just over the end, but if you put a knot in both of the ends now, and then we'll try the next step. So there it is. There's our communication device, or walkie-talkie, or telephone. It has lots of different names. So now what we need to do is to test it out. You're going to need another person to help you. So maybe a brother or sister might work on this with you. You're going to have one end of your communication device and the other end you need to give to the other person. Now one person needs to put this over their ear and you can use this end to talk into, and then you can swap over. But I want you to try something for me. We need to understand sound first of all to know how to use this well. So we need to understand that sound is made by vibrations, and vibrations are made by the back and forth movement of something. Some vibrations are so small and so fast you can hardly see them move at all, but you can feel it. Put your hand onto your voice box, so just by your throat, and say your name. Mrs. Tuxford, Mrs. Tuxford. Obviously you say your name, but what can you feel? Can you feel that kind of buzzy feeling? Well, there's vibration happening there from your vocal cords. If you've got a guitar at home, you might want to pluck one of the strings and watch it. Watch it vibrate, watch it move. When that string vibrates, the air also moves around it and the sound gets carried to your ear. After travelling through the air, the vibration will stop. And if it doesn't get to you, you won't hear it. Now this is quite important because we need to understand that when we use our string telephone or communication device or walkie-talkie, because you're going to need to hold the string really tight with the other person. Because if you hold it really tight, can you see there's a vibration? So if you hold this really tight, one end, and the other person holds the other end and the string is nice and tight, you should be able to use it as your communication device. Try it. Do you remember I said one person have it over their ear and the other person speaks into this end and then swap over. So let's have a look at some things you could explore. Well, you could think about the type of message that you're going to send. You could think about how far away the people might be. Could they hear you if you whispered? Or did you have to speak in a normal voice? Could you talk around corners? Could you hear someone if you were inside and they were outside? If you've got a paddling pool, you might want to try and send a message underwater. Does it work? There are so many things that you can investigate and explore. Have some fun with it. Tell me how you get on. Well, that was good fun. I enjoyed doing that. Poor Byron, I really confused him. I asked Mr. Tuxford if he could get me a cup of tea, but it really confused the dog. He could hear me, but he couldn't see me. Poor Byron. So why does the string telephone or string communication device work? Well, you're using this, and as you speak into it, all the air particles inside the cup start to vibrate, and you're pulling the string really tight. So the bottom of the cup and the string start to vibrate. And then this travels down the string to the other cup. It starts to vibrate. All those vibrations are carrying the messages, and your message gets to the other person who's on the other end into their ear. And then you swapped over. So now that you've done this, what else could you try? Well, if you have some different cups, maybe you could try those. I've got some paper cups. Maybe I could try those and then compare them to the plastic yogurt pots. Are they better? Are they worse? Why? You might try different size yogurt pots. You might have some bigger yogurt pots that you could use. And again, you could compare them. How effective are they? If you have something like a baked bean can and mums or dads didn't mind putting holes into the bottom of those, you might want to try a tin can. And again, compare them. How effective are they? Are they better? Are they worse? Why? You could also try different distances with your string, or try different thicknesses of string, or perhaps use wool. So there are so many variables, there are so many things that you can test and you can try to find the most effective string telephone or string communication device. As always, please post your findings onto the blog. I love seeing how you're getting on. You could even try and have a conversation with someone. Maybe you could be outside in the garden there in the house. Maybe you could be in your den. Maybe you could have a quiz via your communication device. There's lots of things to try. I hope you enjoy exploring with your string communication device, and I look forward to seeing your photos and your comments later. Bye for now, guys.